Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Trade the Matrix. This is Morpheus. In today's video, I'm going to go over some of my TradingView key go-to indicators, settings, etc. I've gotten a lot of requests, so I thought I'd just put together a little video just showing some of the basics. So I do have a premium subscription. You do get probably most people have more than enough with just basic. I think for the average individual. I do pay for real-time data as well because I do like to trade futures. But as far as just standard, um, you know, trading, day trading, um, I think a basic account is just more than enough. So, with that said, let's just jump right in here and take a look at some of my settings. So, if you want to set up a new template, I'll just show you what it looks like right from the get-go. So go to create new layout, and I'm just going to say new layout. Create. So this is kind of like the standard, candles. You got standard candles. You got volume. That's the one indicator that is on by default right here. If you'd like to, make it go away, you got the little I button. Just turn that off. If you want to delete it altogether, you can hit remove. But we'll leave it on for now. So the first thing that I'll start with is I want to get rid of these grids, and I want a very solid kind of dark background. You can play around with it, whatever appeals to you. But if you go to canvas, so I'll start with the canvas. You'll see background right here, and it's solid is what I'd like. You can do gradient as well, which isn't bad. And then you can basically kind of play with some of the settings here, white to black, etc. But I like a nice clean chart here, so I just put it on solid and black. So this is kind of my go-to. I want just jet black, solid, and then I don't like these grids here, grid lines, vertical or horizontal. So I go to the grid line option here and I just select none. You can leave crosshair on. That's basically, you know, the crosshair as you're hovering over, and you can use whatever color you want. If you want to make it yellow, if you want to make it blue, green, it doesn't really matter. It's not that big a deal, honestly, but I'll just leave it on white. So and then watermark, I do like to have the ticker displayed, and that basically is gonna you know put the ticker. And if you'd like, you can also put the time frame. If you want to put interval, and I mean, you can put description, all sorts of stuff. I just like to have pretty much the ticker. Sometimes I roll with the interval as well. As you change intervals, this will change accordingly. But I just like watermark, and then I leave it on pretty much this um, standard, kind of gray color with I don't want it too dark. I don't want it too visible, so I just leave it right where it's at, right there. So you got the watermark there, and then I pretty much leave everything else standard as far as the canvas. So as you can see now, I got a nice, clean, dark canvas. If you prefer white, you can certainly use white. Get your shades out. You can use whatever color you want. Um, I like black, and occasionally I do switch to white just to switch it up a little bit for a little refresh. But standard go to black, flat. There's your canvas. Um, Symbols. I pretty much, my standard symbols that I'm using is body, border, wick, and um, I do for most of my charts, without any other indicators or anything on, just a standard chart. I do like just the black. um, body for the red bars, and I like a little bit of a brighter green here. That's kind of my matrix theme, if you will. So you can just change that, and then you're just also going to change, the borders accordingly. Okay, and then for borders, I actually just use um, green and black right down the line here. I'm sorry, I use um, green for. There we go. All right. So green for body, green candles, black for red, and then green, green. That way I've got just kind of a nice representation of that. So that's basically, the just my matrix black and green theme there that I um, enjoy. And then everything else pretty standard. You can play around with different stuff. I'll start adding some indicators now, just so you can kind of see how to navigate once you start playing with some of the different settings. So here is SPX 500 chart on the daily, and I'm going to bring up some of my go-to indicators now. So if we go to indicators here, obviously I got a bunch of my favorites, but if you just go to the search bar, one of my absolute favorite indicators is the Smart Money Concepts Lux Algo. Um, it's right here. It's free. 144K there. You can bring up the description, read all about it, and I like it because um, I think it's good for newer traders learning price action and structure because it kind of displays um, break a structure, change a character, and you can play with a lot of the different settings here. So you can see here, basically, it uses it shows you break a structure, change a character, larger um, break a structure here, and you can play with the settings on this as well. So if you bring that indicator up here, here's some of my go-to settings on the Smart Money Concepts by Luxalgo. So color candles is kind of nice. If you do use colored candles, it's basically displaying, colors reflecting the current trend detected by the structure, which is kind of cool. So if you want to use that, you can select that there. Keep in mind, if you select colored candles here, you do have to go back into the settings and you have to turn off um, some of the um, stuff that we set up for the matrix theme, right? So turn all these off. Just be aware that if you're using this indicator and you turn off your candles, if you try to turn that off, your candles go away. So just be aware, turn off the indicator, there goes the candles. So if you turn that off, go back in and turn your candles on. But this is a kind of a pretty straightforward, colored candles by structure. And some of the other settings I like to play with here, you can have show internal structure. Um, you can change the label sizes, right? If you want to put, normal, you see it makes them bigger, so you can kind of see. Or if you want them small, you can just have them small or tiny. But if you're still learning about market structure, put it on normal. That way it's nice and big. You can kind of see what's going on. So another thing is, real time swing structure here. You can turn that off and on. You can leave that. You want to kind of leave that on if you want to see, um, what's going on as far as internal structure, obviously. But um, you can play around with it. Obviously, you don't need to have it on. Here's your swing structure, basically telling you, when um, you're in a downtrend and then you break back up to the upside, you get a break of structure on the swing structure. So that's basically what that's kind of showing here. So you turn it off, turn it back on. There you go. And the other things that you can kind of play with are, um, you know, weak or strong structure, learning order blocks, swing order blocks. This is kind of a really nice learning tool. Um, Fair value gaps is off by default, but you can turn that on right here, and you'll see, daily fair value gaps. We're on the daily chart here, and if you want to make those fair value gaps a little bit more prominent, you can change the bar length here. So if you want to, push it out, um, you know, 20 bars, um, there you go. The other thing that's nice about this is you can show the daily, weekly, and monthly previous highs and lows. So you bring this up on the chart here, and I'll just get this out of the way here. You can see right here, you've got previous week high, previous month high, previous day high, previous week low, previous day low, previous month low. Really nice, kind of all in one indicator showing some of the key market structure um, notes that we use daily. So, just a couple other things touch on. You can have all this stuff is customizable, internal bullish order blocks, bearish order blocks, and then another kind of helpful thing to kind of visualize is premium and discount zones. So if you turn that on here, it'll show you, um, basically where the discount is on the higher time frame and where the premium is. So, paying a discount down here on a daily and you're paying a premium up here. Okay. This basically auto generates accordingly as you go down the scale. So on a 15-minute chart, for example, um, you can see here right now, this is, live this morning here, but it's in a discount zone here. And, premium is up here. So kind of nice to visualize. And then you can still see, previous week high, previous month high, previous day, previous week low, previous day low, previous month. Really nice indicator to learn market structure, understand how price reacts around it. Okay, so that's one of my kind of go-to um, indicators. Next, we will take a look at, I'm just going to turn this off just for purposes. I'm going to turn these, my candles back on. I'm going to turn, we'll just kind of shut off Smart Money Concepts right now. All right, so next indicator, also by Lux Algo, is going to be the ICT Kill Zones Toolkit. And we just put in ICT Lux Algo. This is it right here. And it's got 22,000 if you want to read about it. You can read a little bit about it there in the description. But just add that to your chart. Just click on it just like so. And this is really helpful. So, learning the structure, smart money concepts, very cool. This is very cool because it breaks down, if you're looking at previous sessions, it shows you order blocks, fair value gaps, just in a very kind of simplified per session way. And, this is a 15-minute. So you got yesterday's New York session, and then the New York AM session, the PM session, and then obviously after hours, the Asian and the London session. See, we're kind of trading down into the lower half of yesterday's regular trading hours for the SPX. But this is very helpful for me when I'm making plans because I want to know where are the equal highs, equal lows, where's the order blocks, where's the fair value gaps, where's the change of structure, on a 15-minute time frame. This kind of just breaks it down real simple. So some of the settings for that, basically the default has all the default hours from the Asian London, New York AM and New York PM. You can tweak this stuff, but I don't really touch much stuff in here. Market structure shifts, I like that. It'll show you when the structure shifts within these time frames, and then um, you can tweak some of this other stuff here, but I pretty much leave everything as is. Um, yeah, it's really helpful. You can change, style stuff, but I don't really touch anything. The way that you see it show up is kind of pretty much default right there. So that is one of my go-to tools as well. And then I'll bring up one more from Lux Algo, which is very helpful if you're learning the opening range break. And that is this opening range breakout with targets. Really nice here. Add that to the chart. And I'll just turn off kill zones. And we're just going to go into the settings here and tweak some of this stuff here. All right, so Lux Algo opening range break and targets. You can have historical data on if you want. I'll show you previous sessions. Time period, if you're playing a 30-minute opening range, you can leave that right on there. And you're just going to want to check this box here and 9:30 to 10 a.m. And I believe we are on UTC4 right now. All right, so this this indicator is really cool because it kind of teaches you how to play the opening range break with some targets, and you can set the targets accordingly. If you'd like to add a 20 session EMA, you can right there. And adaptive targets, basically, it's set up 50% of the opening range. So, example here would be 50% of this range here would be target one, and then 100%, another 50% would be target two here. And basically, on the opening range break, I have lessons about this. I've gone over this. We kind of like focused mainly on it, and we still use it daily. But a really good kind of go-to strategy. You wait the first opening 30 minutes, and then once you get a breakdown of that range, you do get basically your signal to go short, and then obviously you can follow your progressive 20 session moving average accordingly if you'd like. I mean, this obviously yesterday is not your average day here. We had a strong downtrend, and we hit 11 times the range there. So pretty spectacular day. But this basically, this basically just kind of teaches you to wait for the first 30 minutes, wait for a breakdown uh, structure, and then you can kind of target previous day lows or highs accordingly. So that's that indicator. It's pretty simple, and there's different ways to um, trade it. I mean, if you go into the indicator itself and look at the write up here, there's a really nice description and it tells you exactly how to use it. So those are my go-to um, three go-to indicators for TradingView. Um, on this is for kind of day trading. Um, the other big ones that I use mainly for day trading are those are there is free versions of them. You can look around, but the main ones that I use are simpler trading, John Carter special. I use um, the Squeeze Pro. You'll see this on my chart a lot, and the Ready Aim Fire. And I use these setups primarily for uh, day trading, swing trading. I do use the squeeze incorporated into some of my day trading, but for the most part, um, these are my swing setup indicators because I want to know when we're going to get, daily and weekly squeezes here, right? You got the squeeze here, volume, and also helpful if you want to use simple moving averages or exponential moving averages. There's a lot of different, obviously, um, options. Some of my favorite are Ripster's Clouds for viewing the trend, and also, of course, Mr. Sadi Mahayana ribbon. Okay. So just some different options that you can kind of pair with the daily and weekly charts. I like to use these to see kind of clear stacked EMAs, etc. But there's obviously lots of content out there. Sadi's got tons of great videos, and yeah, so those are the kind of the go-to indicators. I've got a plethora of stuff that I kind of play with. I have a whole kind of suite of my own. Um, that'll be for another video, but these are the basic kind of standard tools and settings that I use for my trading view. So I hope that's helpful. Um, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video if you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.